And I'll welcome you all. Welcome. This is something to talk about from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. And today we're going to be talking about a wonderful program that the AARP and local volunteers put together to help people with tax preparation. Before I do that, though, I want to call out our sponsors, Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island. They offer assisted and independent living and memory care located on Rolling Bay. They also have day stay and respite programs. To learn more about Fieldstone Communities, look at their website, fieldstonecommunities.com. There's an email, ashleyc@fieldstonecommunities.com, or call 206-594-1010. And we also acknowledge at the beginning of these get-togethers that we are meeting on the ancestral homeland of the Suquamish people. The Suquamish have lived on the waters of the Salish Sea since time immemorial. We are learning from their stewardship of these lands and waters, and we are grateful for their hospitality. And Charlie, you are a volunteer with the AARP program and have been for a little while.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've been doing these taxes for people at the Bainbridge Library and for a couple of years at the Senior Center um, for about 7 years now. Some of our volunteers have been doing taxes for 10, 15 years. So we're all, every year, we have to go through a certification process with the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, where we are tested and assuming we pass the test, then we're certified to do taxes for that year, but only that year. In other words, each year we have to be certified.
And how much work is that? How many changes are there in a given tax year? I guess some years more than others.
Some years more than others, but every year there are changes. Um, and some actually happen after the first of the year. They make them retroactive, and those are the most complicated and difficult to deal with. But there are always changes, and we have to. That's one of the factors that we have to live with. Um, we start doing taxes at the library, the Bainbridge Public Library, this coming Thursday. And we do taxes after that, on every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. These appointments last for 1 hour. Everything is done on one day, assuming you have all of the proper tax documents. We schedule 1 hour and we prepare the taxes. We review them with the person who is having their taxes prepared. And then, assuming that everything is good and there are no surprises, either for the person who's having their taxes prepared or for us as far as things that we can and cannot do, then we file the taxes while the person is still in the room. And takes about 20 minutes later before we get a confirmation from the IRS that they have received and accepted the return. So it's a smooth, fast process. And thankfully, we're not faced with the difficulties of doing taxes as for 2.5 years during COVID. It was a much more complicated and difficult process for everyone.
You were trying to obviously minimize the amount of time that the preparer and the taxpayer spent together.
Yes, yes. And we had, as grocery stores and everyone else had, plexiglass barriers and everything else. Masking was required, but no longer this year. Although people, if they feel more comfortable wearing a mask, they're certainly welcomed and encouraged to do so, but it's not required.
So are there requirements about who is eligible or what kinds of tax returns might qualify for this volunteer support?
Virtually, I'd say 90% of the tax returns that would be prepared here on the island, we can handle. We're trained to handle. There are no income limits. Some people have the false impression that this is only for low income taxpayers, and that's not the facts. We handle all levels of income um, and practically all types of tax returns. But I'll list a couple of things that we cannot handle. So, for example, if you're self-employed and your expenses exceed $25,000, those we cannot handle. Or if you have a self-employed business loss, you can break even or you can make a little bit of money, but you cannot have a loss. We can't do that kind of tax return. Another thing is if you have a rental property, an apartment or another home that you rent out, we can't handle those either, specifically because there are all kinds of expenses, such as depreciation, which is too difficult for us to figure out in a 1 hour time period. There are some other types of royalty income, oil and gas, for example, that we don't deal with. Or if you have a farm, not too many of those left on Bainbridge Island, but if you had a farm, we cannot deal with farm income. There are some expenses. For example, if you moved from out of state to Bainbridge Island and you incurred moving expenses for that, we cannot handle those either. So as you can see, there are some specific things that we cannot handle, and we can usually find that out either over the phone or in the first 5 minutes when the person is there at the library. We find out whether or not we can handle the return. In the years that I've done it, we turn away very few people.
And tell us a little bit about why you enjoy doing this.
Well, I've always enjoyed puzzles, and taxes to me are like a puzzle. They're complicated. The pieces all have to fit together. It seems like there are always more than, you think that a piece fits here, but it actually won't quite fit in. It looks like it should, but it doesn't. And taxes are kind of like that. So to me, it's like a puzzle, and I enjoy doing it. But probably the biggest reason is a lot of people come because the taxes are unfortunately complicated. They come concerned to the library about what it is either that they owe, or whether this is covered and that is not, et cetera. And at the end of the process, there's almost always a big sigh of relief that it's over, it's done, and the outcome is almost always better than what people had feared.
Much of life is like that.
Yes,
The
yes,
Boogie Monster is so much scarier under the bed.
yes, exactly, exactly.
So if I'm interested in doing this, the best advice is to call and make an appointment, right?
That's right. And I'll give you a phone number that you should call to make an appointment. The phone number is 206 866-5269. That's the phone number you call. It's not, there won't be a live person answering the phone, but you leave a message and you will be contacted and you will be able to arrange for the appointment. Although we vastly prefer appointments, and I think it's better for the people getting their taxes done if they make an appointment, because the appointments are guaranteed once you've made it. We do take walk-ins, because if we have an open spot in the schedule and somebody walks in and they happen to be lucky that we've got a counselor available, then they can do that as well. But I repeat, we vastly prefer appointments.
Great. I don't know if anybody on the call has a question in particular for Charlie. I am wondering about if I'm getting ready to go, when you get back to me, will you remind me about what things I should bring?
Yes, there are a series of things that you should bring. So to begin with, the IRS has very strict rules that we're required to follow as far as identifying the person for whom we're doing the taxes. So if you show up at the library, you must bring a photo ID as well as a Social Security card or a Social Security statement. So for example, if you're receiving Social Security every year, the Social Security sends you a document called a 1099 SSA, and it lists how much Social Security you received during the year, how much was taken out for Medicare benefits and things like that. That will also serve as your Social Security identification. We prefer that the person for whom we're doing the taxes bring the actual Social Security card if possible. If we have done your taxes the previous year and you can't find your Social Security card, you can't find a Social Security statement, we will possibly, if we know you or if someone of the counselors know you, we can pull up your last year's tax documents, and that is an acceptable thing. In addition to that, you need to bring all of your tax documents. Those are all the documents dealing with bank interests, dividends from stocks or mutual funds, any pension payments, your Social Security payments, anything that is related to taxes, you need to bring in with you. We don't keep them. We do not keep a single document that the taxpayer brings to us, but we need to see them.
Yeah, I am, let's see, I'm going to repeat the phone number. I was also thinking that there might be a list on AARP for the stuff you need to bring.
There is. If you go to the AARP website and search for Tax-Aide, TAXAIDE, or tax help, either one, they will give you a list of the documents that we require.
Yeah, okay. I did do that, and I found it, and it looks something like this. It says, here's the tax returns. You need your correspondence, as you said, Social Security or taxpayer ID numbers, photo ID from the government, all your income information, payments, and deductions, such as they are.
Yes, yes. Although I would hasten to say, Reed, that probably 95% of the taxpayers that come to us take the standard deduction. The standard deduction these years is you have to have unusual medical expenses or some other large expense that is deductible to be better for you than just taking the standard deduction.
Yes, and that's one of the changes that we've seen in the last few years for sure.
That is true. That is true.
Well, I'm gonna just thank you, I guess. Is there anything else you wanted to mention? Want to make sure people get this information and take advantage of it. The idea would be to make your appointment today while there are still volunteers available. Do not delay.
Yes, yes, they do go fast. They do go fast. I would also like to say that, as I said, we will start this Thursday. That'll be our first day, and we go all the way through April 12th. April 12th is the last day that we will be doing taxes. We avoid the day right before taxes are due because people are often desperate. They don't have the documents, and it's too much of a hassle for us. So we stop on April 12th. It's the last day that we file.
It's a Friday, looks like.
That is correct.
Okay, so there are Saturdays, but not that Saturday.
There are Saturdays, but not that Saturday.
Yes, Sally, unmute and ask your question or make your comment.
Still muted, Sally.
There we go.
Okay. Is this at the library or at the senior center?
This is at the library.
Okay.
Yeah, they did during COVID when the library had some restrictions. We did host them for a little bit down here, but the library has been their primary spot and continues to be, and we're grateful for them making space for you for sure.
Okay, got it. All right.
Great. So I'll just repeat that number 206-451-5050. Thank you, Charlie, for your time.
Wrong number.
Okay, well, let's correct that.
206-866-5269.
Got it. Okay. Error in my records here. Okay. We'll fix that. 206-866-5269. Thank you. And thanks for your time today.
Sure thing. Thank you. And we appreciate the time that we worked at the senior center, and always you guys do a great job.
Well, likewise, thank you for being such a loyal volunteer to this tax aid program, which is a great gift to all of us.